Please welcome to the stage, Eloise.
So Amy Schumer recently released a new special on Netflix. She also happens to be one of my least favorite comedians of all time because of her unoriginality and her one-note humor. However, due to my levels of self-hatred being particularly high one day, I watched it all the way through. And although sitting through an hour and a half of pure, unadulterated Schumer was torture comparable to that experienced by the residents of a medieval dungeon, it did get me thinking about other forms of bad, lowbrow comedy that exist in today's pop culture spotlight, particularly Minions. Now, these abominations spawned from the bowels of Illumination studios are not nearly as prevalent as they once were, fortunately. However, they did create something I like to call the Minion industrial complex. If you've ever taken a U.S. history class, you're probably familiar with the military-industrial complex, which is basically all the different industries that depend on the military for profit. Minions, in this case, are the military. Being a simple design, they couldn't be easier to market. This leads me to the first branch of the Minion industrial complex, merchandising. If you happen to visit Universal Studios Orlando, you have the option to stay in the Minion suite. Who wouldn't be enticed by having thousands of watchful eyes watch you as you sleep? A mural of the round yellow monsters watching over your peaceful slumber. And the real kicker is, this room goes for around $700 a night. Why pay almost $1,000 for hundreds of lifeless watchful eyes to watch you sleep when you could get the same experience by passing out in the middle of a nursing home? Universal seems to sense that the horde of Facebook-obsessed baby boomers who adore the Minions will pay almost anything for merchandise that sports their favorite Illumination mascot. At Universal, you can even purchase a shot glass with the Minions on it for $9. That just raises the question, who's old enough to drink hard liquor and actively makes the decision to buy a shot glass with Minions on it? Minions? The only people I can believe would do this are septuagenarians whose brains are already completely destroyed by alcoholism and lack the cognitive function to make decisions that don't involve the purchase of Minion paraphernalia. I would rather be seen buying a poster of Mussolini and superglue it to the front of my house than be seen buying a Minion shot glass. The second branch of the Minion industrial complex that I'd like to talk about is the impact that they've had on Illumination as a studio. As much as it pains me to say this, Despicable Me was not a completely bad movie and overall received okay reviews from critics. However, the fact that the executives at Illumination took the worst part of that movie and made it the face of the franchise shows how out of touch and cynical that studio is. This action is the equivalent of the studio heads at Marvel thinking, oh wow, everyone really loves that ant from AntMan, let's give him a trilogy even though his only purpose was to carry Scott Lang around. And even that would be better than what the Illumination execs did. The Minions are such a central part of the studio that if you ever suffer the misfortune to watch an Illumination movie, the logo in the beginning is accompanied by the haunting cry of Minions that's reminiscent of a barbershop quartet in a gas chamber. Something that can't be ignored is how cheap Illumination's films are to make. 2015's Minions budget was only $74 million, incredibly low for an animated film, compared to studios like Pixar, who routinely spent upwards of $150 million on the production of a film. However, Universal, Illumination's parent company, spent $593 million on marketing. They spent 8 times more money trying to get people to watch their garbage product than they did trying to make their garbage product not garbage. That's not a commentary on how Illumination is hell-bent on not only brutally murdering animation as an art form, but also unleashing a wave of raw sewage on its grave. I don't know what is. The Minions have some sort of unthinkable power, something bestowed upon them by an eldritch god that makes 45-year-old mothers box wine sloshing out of their plastic Despicable Me mugs and steamingly cheap print blouses relate to them. No aging mother is immune to their power. They have a particular type of magnetism that attracts middle-aged women like flies to rotting fruit. Maybe in 5 years, that desperate cougar wearing a Minion shirt, drinking Franzia straight out of the box will be Amy Schumer herself, trying to stay relevant, regurgitating stolen jokes, dragging her child around on a leash in the Universal Studios parking lot. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, please explain your input.
It doesn't really show, but my main one was John Mulaney, just because I really like his delivery and how he's kind of like upbeat about everything. And then my other one was Bo Burnham, just because I also like his delivery of jokes. So, yeah.
All right, and audience questions, comments?
I liked it because everyone can relate to like hating both Amy Schumer and Minions, and so you kind of took that, but then you like analyzed like why, and then it was kind of cool to see like a step above.
So, do you not like the movie?
Oh no, I love them. That was my favorite.
I thought it was nice that it was something that, like for us that we can all relate to. My one critique is you should have had a little Miss P anecdote. You know what she looked.
I love the callback, by the way. I mean, that was a wonderful piece to add unity to your overall performance.
I loved that, like, it was a savage roast, but it was like a full PowerPoint presentation at the same time with evidence and graphics. Quality.
I love the little bits of in the out of the images.
I think you did like some of your the funniest moments were like when you were comparing things to like very extreme things, like the barbershop quartet in a gas chamber, and it was just like so out there, but that's why it was funny, and I like that.
Did you make that image?
Sure did. Yeah.
I feel like that image, I don't know why, I feel like it's still slowly zooming in. I got a little bit disturbed, but otherwise, I love I don't know if I can consider it deadpan, but it's like you're just kind of, the way you'll just kind of give your punchlines with like a straight face, like you're a college professor, explaining why this sucks. It just kind of, I don't know, it's like, I guess the blend of feeling like you're in a college presentation, but also the humor aspect. It's like it's a nice combination that really suited your piece. I really liked it.
Nice comment. Okay, any final questions, comments? Thank you, Eloise.